Thank you very much for your courage, Dr. Head. Dr. Mitchell, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Good evening. I'm deeply honored by the committee's invitation to testify tonight. As a Phoenix VA employee, I have suffered retaliation for years for routinely reporting health and safety concerns. My written testimony details some of that retaliation and the devastating effects on patient care. In addition, Section 4 and Section 5 of my written testimony outlines specific tactics that the VA uses to suppress whistleblowing and also to retaliate against anyone who speaks up within its ranks, even without whistleblowing. The VA, in my opinion, has routinely intimidated any employee who brings forth information that is contrary to the public image that the VA wishes to project. In 2013, I submitted a confidential OIG complaint regarding the life-threatening issues within the Phoenix VA system. Approximately 10 days after the National VA received my report, I was placed on administrative leave for a month. I was subsequently investigated for misconduct because I had provided limited amounts of patient information through the confidential OIG channel in order to support my allegations of the suicide trends and the facility's inappropriate response to them. Eventually, I would receive a written counseling stating that I violated a specific patient policy, but to this day, my Human Resource Department refuses to tell me the name of the policy I violated. This is relatively minor retaliation considering what happened during my last 3 years as medical director in the emergency department. During that time, we were grossly understaffed in terms of physicians and nurses. In addition, there was insufficient ancillary staffing to do basic items such as wash beds, answer telephones, deliver patients, transport labs. As a result, doctors and nurses were routinely pulled away from direct patient care in order to perform these extra duties. When the number of patient visits increased greatly to our ER, the deficiencies became obvious. The actual number of mistakes as well as near misses in our nursing triage skyrocketed. Symptoms such as stroke, heart attack, pneumonia, blood infections, and other serious medical issues were routinely missed by inexperienced triage nurses or by seasoned triage nurses who were simply overwhelmed by the flood of patients that were hitting our ER. I started reporting the cases of actual mistakes or near misses to the facility chain of command. In the process of reporting hundreds of these, approximately 20% of the ER nurses would retaliate against me. They would stop doing my orders for patients. They would refuse to answer questions in the nurses' station. They would not give me verbal reports on patients that were placed in rooms. Administration was made aware of this and yet declined to intervene to stop this behavior that was obviously interfering with my care for patients. In addition, they ignored my repeated requests for additional resources for our ER, and they would never institute the comprehensive, standardized nurse triage training that we needed in order to prevent future mistakes in care being made in our ER. This is not to say they were idle, however. They did ban me from reporting any cases to the risk management department. This is not to say they were idle, however. They did ban me from reporting any cases to the risk management department. My proficiencies dropped each year that I worked. I was forced to work 2 years of unlimited scheduled shifts to fill in holes in the physician staffing because HR was too slow at credentialing emergency room physicians to fill in. Eventually, things reached a critical mass. When the new oncoming medical center director, Sharon Hellman, arrived, I told her that the ER was too dangerous on an hour-to-hour basis to remain open and we should be closed unless additional vitally needed support was given. Unfortunately, the administration's response was to haul me into a meeting within about a week and a half and tell me that the only problem in the ER was my lack of communication skills. The nursing backlash that was reported would never be investigated. Eventually, I was involuntarily transferred based on critical need to an empty medical clinic. I assumed the medical director position of a clinic that only houses a social work program, and that's where I remain today. I do very useful work, but it's certainly not what I intended when I started reporting patient safety and health and concerns. The veterans needing care that presented to the ER have survived campaigns like D-Day, Iwo Jima, Chosin Reservoir, Tet Offensives and Counteroffensives, Desert Storm, Kosovo, Croatia, the Battle of Fallujah, and dismal years in Helmand Province. It is a bitter irony to me that I, as a physician, could not guarantee their health and safety within a VA facility in the middle of cosmopolitan Phoenix. The VA needs to embrace the core values that it advertises on its website. Administrators who place their own personal gain above the welfare of veterans need to face consequences for so doing. However, in the process, it's very important that employees of any pay grade who truly care about veterans and their welfare and that they be protected. They were often placed in the unthinkable position of being forced to follow orders or else permanently lose their livelihoods and their ability to help any veteran in the future. Most importantly, the ability to positively influence the patient care and safety of any veteran should not be considered a Democratic or Republican stance, a pro-union or anti-union choice, or even a uniquely American problem. The ability to freely advocate for the health and safety of any patient is a human issue, and it has ethical implications for all of us. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Mr. Davis,